أهلا بيكم، معاكم آية نبيل. احنا النهاردة إن شاء الله هناخد lesson 3 in the transpiration in living organisms. احنا خدنا المرة اللي فاتت ال circulatory system، عرفنا كل حاجة عنه. النهاردة إن شاء الله هناخد ال blood circulation. The blood circulation has 3 types. The first one is the pulmonary, circulation. Number 2, the systematic circulation. Number 3, the hepatic circulation. And we will take each one of these in details. The first one is the pulmonary circulation. I want to know that the start of the pulmonary circulation in the right ventricle and the end in the left atrium. Okay, and I will know the tricuspid, the dicuspid, the pulmonary valve. The tricuspid, the valve between the right atrium and the right ventricle. The dicuspid between the left atrium and the left ventricle. The pulmonary valve between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery. Now we will take the pulmonary circulation. I will start with the right ventricle. The right ventricle will push the deoxygenated blood to the pulmonary artery, and the pulmonary valve will prevent the backflow of the blood to the right ventricle. Then the pulmonary artery will branch in 2 branches, then to many capillaries. Okay, each branch of the big branches will go to a lung, and the capillaries will go to the alveoli, and in the alveoli will happen the gas exchange. They will take from the blood the carbon dioxide and H2O and give the blood the O2. Then now the blood will be oxygenated blood. The oxygenated blood will go to the 4 pulmonary veins. In one lung, 2 pulmonary veins, and then the pulmonary vein will take the blood to left atrium, and then the left atrium will be contracted and take the blood to right atrium, and the dicuspid valve will prevent the backflow of blood to the left atrium. The number 2 is the systematic circulation. I must know the start will be in the left ventricle and the end in the right atrium. The left ventricle and the end in the right atrium. And I must know the aortic valve. This valve between the left ventricle and the aorta. Okay? In details, I will begin with the left ventricle. Will push the oxygenated blood. Be careful. In the pulmonary circulation, the blood in the end will be oxygenated blood, and the oxygenated blood will go to the left atrium and then to the left ventricle. Here I will start with the left ventricle. I will start at the end of the previous circulation. Okay? The left ventricle will push the oxygenated blood to aorta. Aorta will be branched into branches and arterioles and will go to upper and lower body parts. Be careful. When I push the blood to the aorta, the aortic valve will prevent the backflow of the blood to the left ventricle, and then the aorta will be branched into arterioles and capillaries and will go to the upper and lower body parts, and then the upper and lower body parts will take the oxygen in the blood and will give the blood the carbon dioxide, carbon dioxide gases or H2O will give it to the blood, and then the blood will go to superior and inferior vena cava. And this blood will be deoxygenated blood because the carbon dioxide is in it. The superior and inferior vena cava, the blood to go to them by the veins, and then from the superior and inferior vena cava, the blood will go to the right atrium, and then the right atrium will be contracted and the deoxygenated blood will go to the right ventricle, and then the right ventricle will repeat the pulmonary circulation, and then the systematic circulation and will be these circulations. Okay. Number 3 is the hepatic portal circulation. The hepatic portal circulation will start from the small intestine and will end in the right atrium. Okay, let's see in details. Number 1, the small intestine villi will absorb the glucose and amino acid, and then transported to the blood capillaries that inside the villi. Number 2, the blood capillaries will take this glucose and amino acid to the hepatic portion vein, and then the hepatic portion vein will take it to the liver, and then from the liver the liver will filter and pass to the hepatic vein, and then we'll take it to the inferior vena cava, and then to the right atrium. Okay, this is the hepatic portal circulation. احنا بس عايزين نعرف ايه، عايزين نعرف that the small intestine villi will absorb the glucose and amino acid and then take it to the hepatic portal vein, and then to liver, and then to the hepatic vein, and then to inferior vena cava, and to the right atrium. Okay, now we will take the last point in our chapter, the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system هو عبارة عن immune system in our bodies. Okay, مهم جدا للدefense of to microbes, microorganisms. أنا عندي lymphatic system consists of 3 components. Number 1, lymphatic capillaries, and at last the lymphatic nodes. Firstly, I must know that the spleen is the one of the most important lymphatic organs in our body. Okay. Number 1, the lymph is a fluid filtered from the blood plasma during its passage through the blood capillaries. Okay, it contains most of the plasma components, in addition to a large number of leukocytes, WBCS, or the white blood cells. Okay, have a large number from it because the white blood cells is very important to the immunity. Number 2, the lymphatic capillaries. The work on collecting the lymph to return it into the circulatory system through the superior vena cava. Okay. Number 3, lymphatic nodes. They are filters that found at certain points along the lymphatic vessels. They trap and destroy the microbes by the white blood cells produced by them. Lymphatic nodes very important to destroy the microbes by the white blood cells that produced by them. كده احنا نبقى خلصنا the last lesson of the chapter 2, and we will begin in the next session. We will take the respiration in living organisms. أتمنى إن شاء الله تكونوا فهمتوا. كان معاكم آية نبيل من قناة biology.com.